This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. Starring the pet man Matt Morrow, owner and founder of CFI. With him we have Cherie Glenn, our lead reporter, knocking out interviews, going all over the place, just being the queen of CFI. We have Brandon Black, the man behind the camera, the producer, and our photographer does a great job getting those shots every week. We have with us assistant West Charlotte football coach Brandon Billups. Very energetic young man. Former head coach at Central Cabarrus and East Rowan High Schools, Kenneth McClamrock, one of our big football experts. And then last but certainly not least, we have Josh Kroll, former Christ the King head coach, former offensive coordinator at multiple schools. And we are Football Focus Weekly.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the Pet Man, Matt Morrow. Everyone says I'm on a delay tonight. I don't know what's going on. Maybe just pretend it's like a Chinese movie and you see my mouth moving, but you know the words don't exactly match up. Just listen to what I'm saying and not what I'm moving and seeing, and we'll figure it out and we'll get through this. You know, it's like a starting quarterback that's playing injured. I'm going to give my best effort tonight because we don't have a backup. We're playing two men down. We're short two starters, and we're just going to plow through this and give you a great experience anyway. So here we go. I'm going to come down the line and let all of our esteemed panelists that are here introduce themselves. But first, before I do that, I have to shout out one of our panelists because she, and that kind of gives it away, she had a great achievement today, getting a master's degree. And I forget exactly. I think it's Master of Arts or something. But I'm going to let her go first. We typically introduce with the Juice Man, but he's not here. So we're going to lead with her. And I just want to say congratulations to our queen of CFI, Cherie Glenn, for her amazing achievement that she accomplished.
Thank you, Matt. Yep, Cherie Glenn here. And, you know, I got my master's degree. I graduated back in June, but I just got my actual degree in the mail today. And it was a great feeling. I already know what I'm capable of, and now I just have the paper to back it up. And so I'm extremely proud of it. Online school for you guys who think that it can't be done. But yeah, so here I am with my little master's degree, and I'm pretty proud of it. So I appreciate y'all.
And there's nothing little about that master's degree. That's an awesome achievement. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. And then now you're set up to take this thing over for me in about 2 years. You should have seen her face in the background. I'd like to welcome back Coach Billups, who was not on the show last week, but he was coaching at the Under the Lights camp, and it's awesome to have him back in the house. So let's get him a chance to speak and then reintroduce himself to everybody.
Same old. Had something to go down. Had to handle some business. But old Coach Bill's back. Told you them Panthers was gonna get whooped. And told you we was gonna beat them Cowboys. But good to be back. Good to be back amongst the panel, amongst my friends. Let's just have fun tonight.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun with these picks here in just a minute. But we also have to let our emotional engine of CFI introduce himself. I know him as Ken McClamrock. You know him as the man that is the force behind Charlotte Football Insiders, and here he is.
Yeah, I just want to start off by saying I might give away my age. I might give away kind of my sense of humor. But if you ever saw the movie Wayne's World, Wayne and Garth, they go to see Alice Cooper in concert. They get backstage tickets. And Cherie, this goes to you. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. What an awesome accomplishment, Cherie. Super, super, super job on getting that master's degree, having your diploma in hand. I'm just excited Coach Billups back, because you know a show's not a show if I ain't giving my dude a hard time. So, Coach Billups, welcome back. I plan on making sure that everyone knows that not only do I make things move here in the state of North Carolina, but I also pick every single correct NFL game this season.
And that's a great segue. Thank you, Coach. We're going to go into our picks. And I've got a little surprise for everybody. I didn't tell the panel I was going to do this. So you guys just sit back for a few seconds and enjoy this right here.
All right, week 1 action. We got Coach Billups on the top at 3-0, tied with Kenny. And the Juice Man did a great job in picking those games. Me and producer Brandon sitting at 2-1, not a bad job. And then the loser of the week, our own Queen of CFI, Cherie Glenn, leaving in them Panthers going 1-2. What a loser.
You gotta have some fun. So that was a little surprise I put on everybody. We might have some surprises later on this season as well. But I'm gonna bring everybody in. All right, so let's jump into our week 2 picks before we get into some high school football. All right, this week, here's what we got. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing. I thought I changed that. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
I want to know, how is Coach Billups at the top of the list?
That's just the way it fell, man. There's no real reason, you know.
Because B stands for Billups, and B comes first. A, B, C. Yeah, B, Coach Billups number
B
1.
B is the second letter of the alphabet, too. And that's the highest you're going to get in this year's Pick'em contest, brother. Second place. First place already been picked.
Hey, well, you saw who was in first already.
I
gave scores last week, or at least I gave win differentials.
You did. Now that is true.
Hey, look, true. Hey, I watched it and I was laughing. I said, Ken just wish I was there. That's what this is. What he was.
It wasn't the same.
All right, so here's our picks this week. We got the football team. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The football team going and taking on the Cardinals, the Vikings and the Colts, and then the Bengals and the Browns. So let's see. Cherie, you asked me for the game, so I know you're ready. So let's get your picks first.
First of all, I just need to defend myself. I picked my Panthers because they came out the way I thought they were going to come out. Our defense wasn't all that great. We got some stuff to work on there, but it was still a close game. So it could have gone either way, Coach Billups. So don't be hating on my boys like they got whooped. Nobody got whooped. Anyway, so for this week, now that I've had some time to watch some film, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow on this one for the Bengals. I think that the kicker kind of messed that game up for them last week, and they need to redeem themselves. So I'm picking them. Washington, obviously they played inspired last week because of Coach Ron, my coach, shout you out. And so I'm going with them. And then the Vikings, I'm just going to pick them because I didn't really see enough from the Colts to believe that they actually can beat Case Keenum. So those are my 3 picks.
All right. So, I mean, at least you had the gall to defend yourself a little bit. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Coach Billups, you went 3-0. You're the champ right now, tied with Kenny. We'll get your picks next.
I'm going to tell you why the Panthers lost. You play a 3-man front. You spend all that money on that defensive line to run a 3-man front and get whooped. Derrick Brown got work. He got work. He got the dog walked on him. But, hey, here we go. Football team versus Cardinals. Man, the Cardinals are going to win that. Philadelphia O-line, aside for them, their center was trash. And they ain't had nobody to throw it to other than Durham, Deshaun Jackson. Vikings, Colts. The Vikings and probably don't win that game. Even though Phillip Rivers did look good, man, but that's what Phillip Rivers does. Bengals versus the Browns. This is the most, I'm going Browns. The reason why I'm not going with Bengals, they don't have their corner. The corner is out. He's out for 3 weeks. He's been gone. That kicker, who did they play? I forgot who the Bengals played. That's how bad the game was. It was just boring. I think Baker don't have to come out there on a short week and prove himself. And you don't see a lot of Chubb. It's going to be Chubb time. Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And they really didn't get Chubb started. So I think, because Kareem had 75 yards rushing. But I think they're gonna dumb that offense down. The offense is stupid in Cleveland, but I think the Browns are gonna beat the Bengals. And it's gonna be double digits.
There it is. There it is. Spoken from a 3-0 champ so far. All right. We've got producer Brandon Black now with us. So I'm going to bring him into the fold. And then we're going to let him speak on his picks for the week.
All right. So, like Sheree mentioned, the football team. I'm never going to get used to saying that, but the football team, like you said, they're playing inspired. Ron Rivers got them motivated. His situation things kind of have them motivated. They're kind of rallying around him. So I'm gonna give them they played well, but I'm gonna give them the nod on that one. I'm gonna go Vikings. Like I said, I need to see more of the Colts before I'm ready to pick them. They're kind of got a new look. And then Bengals and Browns. Bengals seem like they have a decent defense. So, and I'm gonna go Bengals. I know it's early. Burrow's still got some kinks to work out, but so I'm going football team, Vikings, Bengals.
There it is. Well said. Well said. All right, let's get the resident coach in here, Kenny McClamrock, and let's get his picks on this week right now.
I never thought that I would say this. In fact, I know that I'm going to have friends that are never going to let me live it down. But my first pick of the week is I've got the Cleveland Browns over the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think it's going to be by 6 points. As bad as the Browns looked this past weekend, I got Hulu Live back. Maybe football was played all day Saturday in my house. Life is back to being normal. My boys were playing football outside. They were stopping for halftime to run inside to watch the games. But I've got the Browns over the Bengals by 6. As much as I hate Baker Mayfield, as much as I think he is the biggest word that we used to say thug that is not PC anymore, I think they show up and their offense shows up. I don't think that the Bengals can score any points on anybody this year. Second game, I've got the Arizona Cardinals. I think they win big versus the FT, the football team. I think Washington had a big win last week. It was an emotional win with their coach getting IVs and all that kind of stuff, riverboat run. But I think they get knocked back down to reality this week. My gut says that they win by 10. My brain says they win by 13, but I think it's going to be a double-digit win as well. And then lastly, I've got the Vikings over the Colts. I don't know if there's a worse passing defense in the league than the Indianapolis Colts. I thought the Panthers were bad. They gave up 19 of 20 passing to Gardner Minshew, a guy that couldn't even cut it at East Carolina. Good night. What in the – the Jaguars are trying to lose. It's like Major League. They want to get a new stadium and move to Miami. I don't even know where they're trying to move to. They're trying to get out of their contract with the city. They want to get the first pick so badly. But I think that the Vikings are over the Colts, and probably by 7.
If you want all the major league references in the world, Kenny McClamrock is your man. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, so for me, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Going into San Francisco week 1 and beating them, says a lot. That says a lot. I'm going to go with the Vikings. Phillip Rivers loves to throw interceptions. He'll put up big numbers, but he always turns the ball over in the critical times of the game. And then I'm gonna go with the Bengals just because, like Ken said, I don't like Baker Mayfield either. And then I'm not thinking with my brain on that, but I'm still gonna go with the Bengals. I'm sorry. The Browns just continue to be a mess, and week 1 just didn't give me any confidence at all. All right, so those are the picks that we have. We'll get the Juice Man's later on. I'm kind of disappointed because I know he had something special tuned up for week 2 picks, and that's why we're going to lead with this. But that's all right. We'll get back to that. All right, we got a few minutes before we got Coach Zach Bevilacqua. I hope I say this right. Bevilacqua with Central Cabarrus coming on. He's our head coach spotlight. So let's go to our next question in the rundown. In South Carolina, it is scrimmage season. They had some scrimmages this past weekend. I want to ask the guys and the girls, what do you look for from a team in a scrimmage or a preseason game? Kind of same difference. NFL, college, they do a little tune-up practices, and the spring games, and of course high school we have our typical scrimmage games. So let's start with Coach Billups on this, and we'll come down.
Before I even make a statement, Ken, you're wrong. The worst defense, passing defense in Atlanta. When Russell Wilson went 31 for 35 for 327 yards. Wow. But to answer your question, me as a DB coach, what I look for in scrimmage is I'm just looking for consistency. Just looking for go out there and making mistakes, see how game ready we are, see what we need to improve on. Make sure we come down being aggressive, making tackles. You don't want to make plays. It's two types of scrimmage. It's one where they do the control one, or the game situation. Like we do situational stuff like that. That's just like a practice against somebody else. But you talking about an actual scrimmage, like an actual game setting going on. We just want to see them perform for 4 quarters, and just want to get some good tape. That's all you want to do. You want to get good tape. Of course, you want to make sure your offense and your defense and your special team are clicking. But what I look for is just technique. Try to get out there with no injuries. I have never went to a scrimmage fully healthy in the secondary or on defense, so we never really got to see what the defense really looked like until week 2 or week 3. I remember my first year at Providence. I had 2 people playing corner that didn't even play one down during the season, but we just had to throw some people out there just to get through the scrimmage. So, you just want to see performance. So, hey, I love them. I like them and I love them, but it's just for film. Most of this stuff, you don't get what you get. With DBs, you just want to see them come down there tackling. 7-on-7s and stuff like that, you are seeing their pass coverage, but we want to see them in their run support, especially the safeties and stuff like that.
So I want to ask you this. Is it important for your team to win a scrimmage?
In South Carolina, I would tell you it's important for them because they brag a lot. Here, you want to win every time you step out there, but if I got good film, you can win a scrimmage. I would tell you this. My first year at Providence, North Rock Hill Northwestern, we went down there and scrimmaged them. They were a pretty good team. They only beat us 14-7. I felt like we won the scrimmage because they was a predicted to go to playoffs and stuff like that. We were just a little known team coming in. Even last year, we scrimmaged pretty well against. So there's more. I hate to, more victories only for minor league coaches. Jay-Z said that, but sometimes you need that more victory. Because you're going against a powerhouse. But I'm going against. Not gonna say any teams because I don't like to disrespect nobody, but I'm going against a team that I know I'm superior than, and we only scored 1 touchdown. I'm going to feel like we lost it, or we gave a big plays and stuff like that. Then of course you don't want to do that. But it's somebody you could physically dominate. Then yeah, but a lot of coaches I know where I've been at, we don't want them games. We want a challenge. You want something to see where you stand at. You don't really like Vance when they went to Dudley. That was a good one. It was a good, good scrimmage. You gotta see where you at. Like when I was at West Shore, when I played at West Shore, we used to go against Crest, Phoebus. We played in that big tournament down there on Memorial Stadium because he wanted to see where we was at, so he put us in the fire. Yeah. So, and Phoebus was the 3-time Virginia State Championship, 6A state championship, and we held with them. That's a good team. So, as a coach, you just want to put your players in there. You don't scrimmage a team that you could dominate and you want to go to the playoff. You scrimmage somebody who's gonna push you. So,
well said, man. Well said. Good stuff. All right, let's bring in Kenny McClamrock, who's got some good thoughts on this topic as well.
I'm not going to talk about that one. But, I think as a coach, what you want to see in a scrimmage, number one, you want to make sure the kids know what they're doing. You want to make sure on the offense that the guys know where to line up, that your receivers have proper spacing. You want to make sure that the offensive linemen have good first steps. You want to make sure they have good hand placement. You want to make sure that quarterback's eyes are where he's supposed to be, that he's going through his read progressions, that he's going through his run keys and all those types of things. You want to make sure that the defense is able to get their calls from the sideline. For us, we never signal stuff in scrimmage. I didn't like to do that. I was always paranoid that other coaches would be in the stands. But you want to make sure that kids can get their calls, they can line up, that they're communicating with each other, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You want to make sure that your offensive line is communicating with each other. You want to see guys run. You want to see guys hustle. You want to see guys get after it. I mean, while you go live in the early part of practice in the early August, typically, you're not really going live. You're not really going all out. You want to see guys piling on. You want to see guys punishing the ball carriers. You want to see guys playing through the whistle. You want to see guys finishing their blocks. You want to see receivers on the backside of plays hustling. You want to see offensive linemen getting downfield to try to break up tackles. You want to see guys putting in the work. You want to see them look like they want to play football, look like they're having fun out there. You want to see how they handle different types of situations. Depending on what kind of scrimmage it is. Sometimes you're just going 10 plays and 10 plays. Sometimes it's game situation where you're playing a half or a couple quarters and you're kicking off, those types of things. But you want to see how guys handle different situations on defense. If we're backed up against the goal line, who's going to step up and who's going to make the stop? On offense, who's going to say, Coach, run the football behind me up front? Coach, throw me the ball. I can get this first down. On 4th and 1, I mean, shoot, we ain't lining up to punt in the scrimmage. We're lining up and we're going to try to get the first down, and we're going to get a free play out of it. So it's an opportunity to get free plays. It's a free plays versus other teams. Typically we like to do 2 scrimmages. One scrimmage was kind of more of a controlled practice scrimmage where we would go with another team. We went with Vance for a couple of years when I was at Central. We went with Huff last year when I was at Central. We went with Davie County for several years when I was at East Rowan. But it was more of a controlled situation, and it was good on good. And we did 1-on-1s, and we did 7-on-7, and we did inside run, and we did 11-on-11, and it was hype, and it was loud, and music was playing, and guys were screaming and hollering. And then we would also do a more controlled scrimmage where, honestly, for that one, I just wanted to get guys in. I wanted to get guys in who I wasn't sure of yet. Were they ready to be starters for us? Were they ready to play significant amounts of plays for us, or guys that just didn't get a whole lot of practice reps? Maybe they're low on the depth chart. Let's try to get them in the game. Let's see if they respond differently when the lights come on, so to speak, because as much as you hate it as coaches, we know that there are some guys who just play better in those types of situations. Maybe it's the game jersey, maybe it's the lights, maybe it's the girlfriend in the stands or mama screaming and hollering. Some guys just know how to flip a switch that for some reason they don't flip in practice. I want to see how guys handle adversity. If something bad happens, a corner gets beat, what's he going to do? Is he going to start pouting? Is he going to start throwing his hands up? Is he going to put his head down? When a coach chews him out on the sideline, is he going to start back talking him, or is he going to say, yes, sir, my bad, I got it next time? If a guy drops a pass, if a quarterback throws an interception, how are you going to respond? Because how you respond now is setting the tone for how you respond for the rest of the season. And then lastly, Coach Billets mentioned, I want to get stuff on film. I know there are schools that they film their practice and they have time to do that. Their head coaches, teach 1 or 2 classes. In Cabarrus County, I taught 3 classes. In Rowan County, I taught 2.5 classes. I didn't have time to film practice. We filmed it, but I didn't always get to watch it. But I wanted to get film on our guys. I wanted to be able to show them, this is where you stepped wrong. This is where your eyes are wrong. This is where you messed up. Look at how far out your splits are. Why are you so deep? Look at where your stance is. Look at your first step. Look at your aiming point. Look at your angle that you take. I want to be able to go over with my guys, this is what you did well, but most times in scrimmages, at least in my experience, it was, this is where you were really, really, really bad. These are things that we have to correct, and we have to correct them really quickly. As far as winning, Pep, I didn't keep score. I could care less. Offensively, we ran a script. I wasn't a script guy in real games, but I had my plays that I wanted to run. There were times where There was some flexibility built in, but I wanted to see my guys line up. I wanted to see my guys compete. I wanted to see my guys get after it. I wanted to see my guys support each other, and I wanted to get it all on film.
Great breakdown there, Coach. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. I think we got a comment in. Let's check that out. Oh, our buddy Mizzle. Mizzle, what's up, man? Film is very important. Absolutely. Absolutely. The eye in the sky don't lie. And, we got I remember some of those film sessions, man, you just, kids get so embarrassed and, you have to kind of pick them back up after, they get picked on for doing something bad on film. But we're going to get to something like that later on. I got a little surprise topic I want to throw at y'all. But anyway, all right. So now we got our head coach spotlight on time and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on. He is the new head coach at Central Cabarrus High School. And I had to get a crash course in how to say his last name correctly. So hopefully I don't fail this test. And we're going to bring on Zach Bevilacqua. And he broke that down, and I want to verify that I said that right. So let's bring him on right now.
Hey, Coach. Hey, Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I usually like to give that crash course because I've had that thing mispronounced more than once in my life. So I tell everybody, I'm like, hey, just call me Bev because it makes life a whole lot easier for me. But yeah, you did
that's
good.
That's what we're gonna go with. Thanks to your tips.
No problem. No problem.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. So tell me, what led you to take the job at Central Cabarrus?
Well, I kind of got to a point that I've been at Sun Valley for 4 seasons, and we had a lot of success, and we won a lot of football games. And I was telling people, I wasn't necessarily looking for an out, but there were a couple jobs that I really kept my eye on, and I knew Kenneth through all the recruiting, and he and I used to go back and forth a good bit with each other about when he had DeAndre and Derek, and we had Sam Howe, and we had Gavin Blackwell and Michael Gonzalez and those guys, and Kenneth and I would go back and forth a good bit about recruiting. And I always kind of said, man, Central Cabarrus is just one of those spots that I felt like you could be successful at. I felt like there was a lot of community support. And when the job came open, originally I didn't even go for it because I just kind of assumed that D-Rob had it. And so I kind of sat back on the back burner. And then, as things worked out, Kenneth hit me up and said, hey, is this something you would consider? And so I went up and interviewed with Jamie Billings, our athletic director, and Dustin Shue, our principal. And you couldn't work for 2 better guys. They were salt of the earth, great human beings.
Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. That's a great backstory right there. So for those that may not know you, you're a former Butler Bulldog, correct?
Yes, sir. Second year of school was open. I started there as a freshman in '98.
Awesome. So talk to us about that experience, just getting Butler started, and you kind of opened the door to where they started taking over the city, and just kind of talk to us about how your career kind of went from there.
Well, I was very fortunate. Barry Shuford was my head football coach, and we had some unbelievable coaches when you go back and look at that staff with Mike Newsom, Steve Shaughnessy, and John Burleson, and Coach Cowser, and all. I mean, we had Mark Saunders. I mean, we had great football coaches at Butler when I was there, and I actually, coming out of 8th grade, I was going to Piedmont Open Middle School downtown, and all my friends were going to Piedmont Open or going to West Charlotte. And Tommy Noss was the head coach there, and Rusty Jester was still at Independence. And my best friend was going to Independence, and my girlfriend was going to West Charlotte. And so I wanted to go to West Charlotte or Independence. And, I went over to Butler. It was my neighborhood school. We had just opened. I was like, Mom, the football's not good. And, all this. And my mom was a teacher. And so, I always tell people she took me over to Butler to tour the school and to see what it looked like. And I go over there, and you guys probably know Barry Shuford, but Barry, talked about academics, about the school, about this, about that. The only thing he said about football the entire time we were there together while I was in 8th grade was we walked outside the back of the school and he said, "Hey, there's a football stadium over there." And years later, I asked Barry about that, and I just said, "Hey, what is, what'd you do?" And he said, "I knew all I had to do was sell your mom. I didn't have to talk to you about coming to Butler." So he got me there, and I wound up being a 4-year starter at Butler. It led to some great things. I was a member of the All-State team in high school and played in the Shrine Bowl in 2001 and had a lot of scholarship offers and chose Elon right before we joined the Southern Conference. My freshman year there was 2002, and then I played at Elon and from 2002 and actually just 2003. Started as a redshirt freshman and at the end of the season had a shoulder injury and had some nerve damage, and was fortunate enough to get picked up, kind of as a student assistant by Paul Hamilton, who was the head coach at the time, and worked with Dale Steele and some of these other really good coaches working with the offensive line. Lewis Clyburn, who's down there in South Carolina now. I think he's at Lake Camden High School. And I was able to work with those guys and had a chance to go continue in college football, and just said that really wasn't the direction that I wanted to go. I loved strength and conditioning. I loved football. And I just knew that high school was the spot. So spent 6 years in Lincoln County, at West Lincoln and North Lincoln, and went to West Rowan under Scott Young, who I consider one of my greatest mentors to this day, and love Coach Young dearly. He was a outstanding human being. Got my first real crack at head coaching at Porter Ridge. Took some lumps and went through 2 seasons there, and then got back over with Tad Baucom over at Sun Valley as his defensive coordinator, and we had some great runs and Sam Howe and Cam Maddox and Preston Duty and all these Roy Arlozaga, all these great football players that we had while we were there. Won a lot of games, had a great time.
Awesome stuff, Coach. Awesome stuff, man. My next question was going to be, are you more of an offensive or defensive guy, considering you got that experience, playing on both sides of the ball? Excuse the stuff going on back here.
I got 5 kids, Coach. I know the feeling. That's why I'm sitting in my car at my oldest daughter's softball practice right now. Thank goodness for in-car Wi-Fi.
That's awesome, man. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. That's
yes,
awesome.
Sir.
So tell me about your philosophy on both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively. What could we kind of see from you as a head coach up at Central?
Well, I was an offensive lineman my whole career, and in fact, I'll tell people the story that when I was in 6th grade, I'd never played football because I was always too big to play in the Charlotte leagues. They wouldn't let me play, and then when I was the right size, I was like 9 years old, and I'd had to play with 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, and Mama said no, that's not how things are going to work. And so I got to, I didn't start playing football until 7th grade at Piedmont, and I went to an offensive line camp, or I went to the Panthers football camp, and my greatest influence in football at that point was Matt Elliott, who was Mr. Irrelevant in 1992 and started in 34 games. And so my dad was a high school quarterback and college quarterback, and asked me, he wanted me to play quarterback, then he wanted me to play tight end, and then he wanted me to play fullback. And finally, I was just like, Dad, I love the offensive line. So I started from my sophomore, junior, senior year in high school as an offensive lineman, started in college as an offensive lineman. Basically my whole career until I got to Porter Ridge was coaching offensive line. My second year at Porter Ridge, I felt like we needed to do some things on defense a little bit better, and so I took over the defense. And I really had never called defense in my life. So we got out there, and I felt like I called defense from an offensive kind of viewpoint. I looked at field space, and I tried to make sure our defense understood where we were most vulnerable at. I try to talk about things. I'm a big simplicity guy. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel for football. There are much smarter guys. I took our defense straight from Wes Beam, who we call the legend, and he's Matt Beam, who's been at Newton Conover and Burns and North Lincoln. It's his dad. I took it straight from his playbook, and he's we're going to be as simple as possible. I tell our kids, I want them when we on the football field. I want you to understand that things are going to go wrong in a hurry, and I just need you to know how to react when that happens. So offensively, obviously we're going to fit our personnel. We're going to run a lot of single back, power counter, RPO concept stuff. Defensively, we're going to play a base defense first, and that's going to be. I mean, we're going to be what we're going to be. You might be. I can't hear you at all, there.
I said last week I threw 4 interceptions. That's the first interception tonight. I got to the second quarter for my first interception tonight. So
you're good.
I tell you, quarterback rating.
It's all
right. But anyways, the biggest thing I like about you, man, is just your demeanor. You don't seem to get too rattled. You seem pretty calm. I want to ask you about a time where, as a head coach, you just kind of, had to, get on somebody, and how do you do that effectively and still keep them in the fold, and don't lose them? Sometimes that can happen as you get on a player.
The best person that's ever done that, in my opinion, in football was Scott Young. He was unbelievable at the way he would interact with the players, and sometimes on the sideline he would come up to me and just go, "Hey, Bev, I'm about to go over here and lose on this kid. I want you to go put your arm around him and tell him that everything's okay and Coach Young's crazy when you go over and talk to him." And he would tell you that. And Scott was, I mean, you could be on the sideline with Scott and disagree with something he was doing, or he would come up to me like, "Bev, why are you guys not, why are you not blocking 80 and they're playing defensive end? Why are you not blocking them?" I'd be like, "Coach, I'd block them if I were out there on the football field. Come on, man." And he would just smile and walk away. I try to with our kids. The first thing is we've got to have we've got to love our kids. We've got to love every single player. And I think once those kids know that you love them, once they know that you love them and you care about them, you can have the relationship with them that I tell them sometimes you got to pat them on. Everybody deserves a pat on the back. Sometimes that pat has to be a little bit higher and tell them great job. And sometimes that pat has to be a little bit lower. One of those that, like, come on, you need to get your butt in the line and let's go. So, I mean, I try and stay as calm as I can be until kickoff. I figured out as a football coach that I don't win football games at 1:30 on Friday afternoon. I just go ahead and we get on it as hard as we can, and when game time comes, we're going to lock in and do what we do. And so, our kids know that we're going to be loose and as comfortable as we can be, but when it comes on the field time, we're going to be as serious as we can possibly get between those lines.
That's a great answer, Coach. That's a great answer, man. That really summed that up really well. I try to be a quieter guy and not get on guys, too often. But when you do, you're gonna have to do it a couple different ways, and that was addressed really well. Excellent. All right, we're gonna bring on somebody and he's got a question for you, and let's get him on right now.
Coach, what's up, brother?
Coach McClamrock, my friend. How you doing, my friend?
I'm well. Coach Bev said this a minute ago when Jamie Billings, the athletic director of Central Cabarrus, came to me and said, "Hey, what's your thoughts on Coach Bev?" One thing that I knew for sure because like he said, we had been talking for the better part of a year and a half, trading contacts at different colleges and ideas and, hey, what are you doing differently to get your guys recruited? I told him, I said, there are very few coaches who are going to work as hard to get kids into college as what Coach Bev will do. And that part I can guarantee you. I can't guarantee anything else about him, but he's going to work hard for his kids, and he's going to be loyal to the kids at Central Cabarrus. So I was really pleased whenever Coach Bev was announced as the head coach at Central Cabarrus. But, hey, quick question, man. So we all know all coaches, especially head coaches, have little oddities that they do, especially on game day, man. I had one assistant coach at East Row that he would disappear for like an hour and a half to go take a hot shower in the schoolhouse. I don't think he ever made it to a single on the field walkthrough on a Friday afternoon, man. What do you do that's unique to Coach Bev on Fridays that you don't maybe do any other time of the week?
I don't know if I'm superstitious, but I go out. I always believe in doing, like, I'm a guy. I'm a creature of habit. So if I win a football game on a Friday night and I'm in a pair of khaki shorts and a hot jacket and a green hat, I guarantee you the next Friday night you're going to see me in that same pair of khaki shorts. I mean, and also, and I know it doesn't make a difference. I mean, like last year I was growing a beard about halfway through the season, and I was starting to look like you, and we lost the game, and I said, no more beard. This just isn't working for me. I don't know if it's ever going to make a difference. So I wouldn't say I have a lot of game time quirks, but like in 2017, man, we were playing in the fourth round of the playoffs, and I got on a roll where we were winning games. I was wearing khaki shorts, a white hot jacket, and a white Sun Valley hat. And every Friday night, I mean, we're in Asheville High School on we're in Asheville High School on Friday, December 1st, or AC Reynolds High School on Friday, December 1st. It's like 42 degrees outside, and I'm outside in a pair of khaki shorts, a hot jacket, and this hat, because I've decided this is what it's going to take to win football games.
There it is. That's all right. Good answer, Coach. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I heard most of that, and that was pretty dang on. I heard something about 42 degrees and in shorts, and I'll tell you, I don't do that. Better man than me.
Back when I was at West Lincoln in 2006, I thought I would be like, Billy Bad Butt, and I'd go outside in the rain in my shorts and a t-shirt, and I was doing up downs and stuff with the kids, and I swore.
Oh, Lord.
I was in the coach's office one time shivering after practice, and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I don't ever have to prove to them that I'm tough anymore.
Yeah, I got past that real quick. I learned when I tried to break up a fight one time, and I got drug on the ground, and I'm a big dude. I got drug around, and said, all right, these days are over. You always had that one moment. I tell you. So what can we expect from you guys this upcoming season? Some guys that we can look out for that's going to do some big things on the field for you, Coach.
Well, I think, coming back wise, obviously DeAndre is going to college, and that is tough for us to lose, but we know that's his future. And we have Kevin Clerge, who's committed to North Carolina A&E, playing corner for us. We have Mekhi Dunn, who's the other corner, who's coming back, who's a very good football player. We've got the biggest one, or one of the biggest ones, is Elijah Horton. Is going to move down kind of the edge of the box for us and play some stuff on offense, a couple different spots. He's an outstanding football player and athletic, just hard-nosed, old-school kid. And then we've got kids like Austin Himes, and we've got Guillermo Benitez and Mikel Elguera, and a bunch of, these are all seniors that we have that are coming back. Tavion Glover, they're all really good football players. Coach McClamrock did an outstanding job with those guys, and Coach D-Rob did an outstanding job with those guys when they were out at Central last year. Upcoming, we have a rising junior offensive lineman who I think is going to end up being a Division I kid. I think his name is Emerson Baker. I'm not certain I'm not certain if he's an ACC guy, but he's grown tremendously. He's like 6'4", 285 pounds, has a 4-point-something GPA. And we're going to move him inside and have him play center. I think last year was his first year ever playing football. And so thanks, Coach McClamrock, for convincing him to come out and play, because I think he's going to be really, really good. He played soccer when he was a freshman. He still plays basketball. But we've got some freshmen coming in that I'm excited about, that are going to take some time to develop. But we'll see kind of what happens with them, and I can't wait to do it.
Awesome stuff. Well, as Kenny will tell you, Central Cabarrus is one of our favorite places to go. And, just because we've got a new head coach and you up there, I'm still going to come by and check you guys out. It's always been very hospitable, always good people up there, always a great environment on a Friday night. So even though it's in the spring, I can't wait, to get up there and see you and the Vikings in action, man.
Yes, sir. You're welcome anytime. Come on over to North Hall, sit down, get a meal before the game, and we'd love to have you anytime you want to be around us.
Well, you said a meal before the game, I'm there. So there you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming on, Coach. I appreciate it.
No problem at all.
All right. So that was Coach Zach Bevilacqua with Central Cabarrus joining us tonight. Very, very talented head coach. I think he's going to do a great job, taking over for our guy, Kenny McClamrock, who's now here with us. So now we're going to jump into the Under the Lights All Camp team. And I'll tell you guys now, I'm going to do a couple articles on this. So we're going to go through this pretty quickly because I do want to just get out there who were the standout guys who won the awards, because we haven't necessarily kind of released that just yet. We're still putting together some details on that. We're going to get the roster out to several college coaches that have been asking for the top performers. So these guys were the ones that really stood out. They were consensus best players at the camp, but we are going to add several honorable mentions to this list of people that we've got right here. All right, so our quarterback MVP was Evan Bernard from Cuthbertson. He did a great job all night long delivering the ball, good arm strength, great timing. The running back position, our MVP was Trey Mickelson of Mountain Island. He came off another good performance the week before from the WEA camp, and did a tremendous job against a tough crop of really talented running backs and just stood out. Wide receiver Songa Yates of Vance was the wide receiver MVP, and he was just electric. He also won the overall offensive MVP. I mean, I saw offensive and defensive coaches just raving about that young man. You go back and you look at some of our videos, Sharice shot and Kennedy Media Group shot, just dynamic with the ball in his hands and just making plays all night long. Our other two receivers were some of the more acclaimed guys, Dakota Twitty from Thomas Jefferson, the 4-star recruit everyone knows. And then Josh Johnson and Arthur Kell came out and did a good job as well. Both of those guys are going to, get some good offers. And, of course, with Twitty's case, he got offered right at the camp, which is, always an incredible feat in itself. Tight end Zach Rita of Weddington was the best tight end there. He's good size. From what I understand, he converted from receiver. Now moving down to tight end, but he's got a great frame. He gets in the college program. He's going to add weight, and he's going to be a really, really good player. Offensive line, all 5 of these guys did a good job. When we did the best of the best one-on-one final challenge, they swept the defensive line, which is always an incredible feat. Miles Lopez of Cuthbertson was our offensive line MVP. He's been camping well, all summer long, and now into this fall session of camps. He's doing a great job. Brady Wayburn, formerly at Forest View, he's now up in Pennsylvania playing high school football at Loomis Chaffee. Doing a great job. Really big kid, 6'5", 300 pounds. Just an incredible player. Alvin Davies of Vance. He got offered by Livingstone from attending the camp. And that was his first ever offer. So that's what the camp is about. Getting those exposures and offering, kids that, have talent, but you may not know them that well. Justin Blue of Vance, did a really good job. He's lost a lot of weight. He's been working hard all off season long, and he showed some improvement and a reflection of his hard work. And then William Hart, Porter Ridge, coming over from Piedmont, did a really good job at the tackle position. Big, strong right tackle. Showed well in pass protection, which was really good for him. So this camp really helped him, in my opinion. Defensive line, Zarion Jackson from Vance. Oh, my gosh, this is a 2023 kid. I couldn't believe it when he told me. His size, his motor, His pass rush moves were incredible, and Vance has got 2 more years of this kid. Just, he's the next one. He's the next one that's going to wreak havoc on that defense, and I know Coach Hackett is very excited to have him in the fold. Zahir Barnes-Vaughn of Mooresville, all-conference player last year. He's 2021. He showed well. He did a good job on the defensive line. And then these 2 guys from Mallard Creek, Braylon Dixon and Jonathan Slaughter. I'll tell you, Mallard Creek, these 2 guys are just speed, quickness, and strength, man. What a dynamic combination. Those 2 on the same defensive line, my goodness. If I was the defensive line coach in Mallard Creek, I'd be very excited. You line them up on the same side and play some games with those guys, oh my gosh, it's going to be Sack City all night long. Linebacking core, some really good linebackers here. Steven Zajkowski, a lot of people didn't know that name coming into this camp. He was the linebacker MVP. He was that impressive. That's awesome. He's a younger kid too. Panos Burlos at South Meck. We've gotten to know him, throughout this camp season. He's doing very well. And of course, Gabe Stevens of Mountain Island going to Carolina. He came out there, he flashed his athleticism and the reasons why he is a Power 5 guy, just plain and simple. Then at DB spot, you had Fred Bates from Hopewell. Let me bring on Coach Bills. Let him talk about, Fred Bates just for a second. What can you say about that young man?
Fred, I known Fred since he was 9th grade. Fred was part of my DB crew at Hopewell. The one thing I tell you, he has evolved. He always been a hard hitter. He can play. He runs the alley very well, but now he can cover. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing. He's aggressive. He don't back down for nobody. He's that Rockwell and that junkyard dog. That's the best way to describe him. He's a junkyard dog. And you was at the camp, you heard me yelling at him all night, tell me, hey, relax. He remind me of, a lot of me. I'm not taking credit for him. That's Coach Sanders and Coach Bird, what they do. I forgot the DB. Mm-hmm. They do a great job. I gave Fred a good balance his 9th grade year, but he reminds me a lot of me. That's why me and him we bump heads all the time. You tell the growth. That what me and him was over there laughing about. He was like, you used to not talk to me all calm like this. I said, man, I don't grew up. And he deserved it. It was a bunch of talented DBs. It was a bunch, you had some so-so, but you had a whole lot of high level. We could have had top 20 if you want me to be honest, because we missed a couple of them guys, but Fred, he deserved it. And he outplayed, McDougal, AK's 2 corners they had there. Porter Ridge had a DB who was nasty. The 2 kids from East Meck. Yep. I keep naming these kids. Mm-hmm. It was some talent. It was Vance. You had some Vance. That's how talented it was, but he was the more consistent one. Like McDougal could have easily got it, but Fred was more consistent. And that's saying a lot because McDougal was one. We all know McDougal at Butler. He one of the best pound for pound corners in the city. So I was really impressed with Fred. And you gotta remember he's a safety. That's why I was even more impressed. He's a safety. So hey, lock in on all for that. Kid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Coach, for that commentary. Appreciate it, man.
No problem. Love.
All right. So for the other guys, Coach Billups mentioned some of those guys. And it was hard to pick just 3 because we just did 22 guys, 11 on each side. And then we got 3 special teamers. But the other 3 he mentioned, Porter Ridge, Brendan Perry is the guy at Porter Ridge that really stood out. East Meck, Donovan Woods did very well. And then he mentioned Gary McNougal, and he's the 4th DB on the all camp team. And like he said, he's a dog. He's a dog. Special teams wise, we had 3 guys stand out as MVPs. And we had a couple other MVPs that were going to be on the honorable mention list as well. Jackson Moore, Marvin Ridge won the overall special teams MVP. He's the kicker. Marvin Ridge, he nailed several impressive kicks. And punter Bennett Williams from Hickory Ridge did a great job putting the ball. And then long snapper Everett McLaughlin from Piedmont in Union County did a great job as well. So that's the all camp team right there. We will have several honorable mentions. As Coach Billups said, there was a lot of DBs on that honorable mention list. We got a little bit of everything on the honorable mentions as well. So that article will come out tomorrow. We'll have pictures from the award winners as well. So a lot more still to come from the Under the Lights camp, but that is the all camp team. Congratulations to the guys that made the all camp team. I know there are some guys that won some awards. Jameer Moten from RGK won the fastest man competition. That was awesome. And Vic Garrido from Pine Lake Prep won the quarterback longest throw competition. 63 yards flat-footed. Impressive stuff, man. So it was a fun night. Go check out the videos on our Facebook page, on my Twitter. Candy Media Group did a great highlight video. Check that out as well. We got a couple comments here. Let's see. Miss Moten, one of our biggest fans. Awesome camp, loved it. And I meant to try to find you because you support us so much, and I wanted to introduce myself and shake your hand for all the support. She's supporting Panos, Josh Johnson from RGK, and then her son Jameer, who won the fastest man competition. And then Mr. Moss right there, Panos, hashtag the standard. Yep. And then, Mr. Moss's son, Takai, I can tell you he's on the honorable mention list. Another, really talented player as well. And then Miss Burlos, shouting out Jameer. So some nice love right there across everybody. And thank you, Miss Moten, for supporting us on Football Focus Weekly. It means a lot. It really does mean a lot. All right, so let's jump to the most famous segment on CFI, because for a long time it was the only segment on CFI, but now it's still everybody's favorite. It's time to sound off, baby. And now we are at full roster. Complimentary players are now here with us. Thank goodness, because I'm having another off night. Juice Man, come save me on sound off. Let's go.
Yeah, baby. Juice Man in the building, sound off. Sorry for my tardiness, everybody, but sound off. Today is September the 16th, approximately 8:35 p.m., depending on your cell phone carrier service. You might be a little bit over, might be a little bit under. Around this time last night, there was a game going on, a basketball game. And as the game progressed, we began to see something transpiring that we had never really seen before. So tonight on Sound Off, I know you probably think I'm going to call out this person. Or you might think I'm going to call out another person. But I'm actually going to call out one person. And as my brother Billups tried to go ahead and point out, he is absolutely right. Kawhi, straight back, braids 99 from the 2000 Leonard. Brother, I talked about you like my mother's macaroni and cheese last year. I said you were nothing but good, and great. But the performance you put on in these last two games, I gave you the benefit of the doubt in game 6. But my brother, the nerve of Max Kellerman saying that Kawhi Leonard at the beginning of this season was the best player in the NBA. The nerve. Kawhi, brother, either you're going to end up having a personality, because you can't not have a personality and then mess around and do what you did last night. I mean, I had my plans in order. Lakers versus Clippers. Oh, it was going to be beautiful, and you just messed it all up for it, brother. So while you sitting at home with your laugh, messing up my opportunity to see something beautiful and dreamful, you versus LeBron, and your supporting cast with his supporting cast, remember that the Juice Man tonight, September 16th, 2020, in the year of COVID, said that you got a whole lot of work to do. And if you thought you was the best player in the league, brother, you sadly mistaken. Juice Man, I'm out. That's my sound off for the night.
Well said. Well said. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people feel a similar way. I mean, I saw that thing about Paul George, in the little Sprite commercial, I think it was. And then they showed him trying to shoot the game winner. And then they cut to that ball he shot and hit the side of the backboard or something. It's pretty funny. Pretty funny to me. All right. Let's get Cherie Glenn in on this, the Queen of CFI, and get her thoughts.
Well, first of all, I don't even know why anybody would think that any player is better than LeBron. Just throwing that out there. So happy to see Kawhi and them going home. But my sound off tonight, I'm going to take it back to, I think, week 2 it was, when I shouted out Maya Moore for helping to get Jonathan Irons out of prison. So I found out today that they actually got married. And so, just the amount of love that she had for that dude, because I think she met him when she was like 17. So not only was she fighting for, social injustice everywhere, but she was fighting potentially for her own love. And I thought that was just an amazing part 2 to that story. And now they're out there actively fighting for, for everybody. And so I just wanted to shout them out, sound off for that.
Let me ask you something. Now, would you go to the lengths that she did, not only for social injustice, but for love?
I think I would, especially just depending on, the severity of it. They had apparently known each other, and he had already asked her to marry him, but it was when he was in jail, and he told her not to answer the question. And she was like, what? But, so the love, it was there. If I felt that strongly for someone, ain't no telling what I do for them. I think I probably would do that for them.
Well, that's sweet.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, when you love hard, man. So
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do. So not only is she the Queen of CFI, she's also a resident Cupid. So that's very sweet. All right. So what a touching moment here. Let's go to our producer Brandon Black and see if he can continue on this this lovely tangent that we're on.
Nope. Nope. I'm completely. I appreciate it though. I really do. I really do appreciate it. That was, that was from the heart and genuine from our queen. But, I'm gonna switch it up. So, I'm gonna just comment on, given the circumstances, given the climate of the world, climate of the country, it was just nice to sit and watch a football game on Sunday. Just sit there and watch a game. You just almost forgot how much you appreciate just the simple joys, because we've been dealing with masks and talking about vaccines and all kinds of political things, campaigns, presidential election, racism, protests, given all of that long list of things. It was just nice to sit back, have a drink or two, some food, and just watch a game. It made you appreciate the simple joys. Now, I wish the Panthers defense would have played just a little bit better, but it's week 1. But it was just nice to sit there, man. And I've also seen the college. A lot of the college conferences are going. I think the Big Ten has had a change of heart, so at least looks like we'll be getting some full weekends of football coming up. But yeah, it was just nice to see some football on again.
Now, let me ask you something. 4th and 1. What are you calling?
Anything but fullback dive. I know that much. I'm gonna be honest, man. You have a transcendent talent in Christian McCaffrey. I know he's not a bruiser. I know he's not a Derrick Henry, but I'm designing something to get the ball in his hands because I know he's gonna on 1 yard. He's gonna fight. He's gonna give me every ounce of fight in his body for that 1 yard. He might not be big, but he's gonna. I might have even went with a lead play or something even, but not a fullback dive, man. That just, the carry didn't have enough momentum for that. So, I'm putting it in CMC hands in that situation. You literally need to give the ball to the best player on the field at that situation.
I agree. Well said. And that was going to be my sound off, but I got something else on my mind I need to talk about. All right. Well, we're going to get to that in a minute. Okay. Let's see. Interception number 2. There it is. Oh, all right. Let's go to Coach Billups, who's continually to laugh in the background. So I know he's got something good to say right now.
Hey, man, I'm going to lead with love. Hey, can you bring my boy Crowell on here right quick? Give me side to side.
Yeah, sure. Well, we can do that. Hold on.
Hey, he about to smile. I'm gonna lead with love, and then I'm gonna end with hate. First of all, I don't think a lot of people know what all you do for the community and for your school, North Carolina Central. When I saw that tweet about what you did, speaking to a group of young scholars at Howard University, man, I smiled. I said, that's the Crowell I know. And I think a lot of people think you just this energetic guy who just go on these rants. No, you really put forth what you do. You're a young Black owner. You and your wife got business. You got your own stuff you're doing. And I want to salute you and applaud because I saw it. And I was like, look at my boy Crowell. I said, check him out. But then something happened on Saturday.
I know you ain't about to say what I think you about to say, because I said, wait.
Hold on. No, let me finish.
Disclaimer. Hold on. And
Don't say what.
We can run the footage back. I said weeks ago that I'm no longer a Florida State fan. I said that weeks ago. Don't do this to me, Billups. Don't do this to me, man.
I've been waiting to see you because God, no, man. Tell me, Blackwell, man. That's Blackman. He's a well-oiled quarterback machine, boy. That boy terrible.
Bro, don't do this to me right now.
Terrible.
Come on, man.
I cannot wait to play Florida State.
I can't wait till y'all play them too.
That team is terrible. It is boo. You can't blame on Jimbo.
Nope.
You can't blame on Willie.
That's right.
You can't blame on. You don't try to blame Bobby Bowden in the Crawford.
But you did see on my tweets, though. You did see on my tweets. I was going to bat for Coach Taggart because those Florida State fans, that Florida State alum, and those boosters, they talk so much crap about Coach Taggart. Whatever. Not even give it.
So
Coach Taggart never had a fair opportunity there at Florida State.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say what it is. It's just the same problem. The same problem Florida State having. Same problem why Joe Brady called a fullback dive. Same reason why Atlanta secondary, their defense gave up 30 when they went 31-35. That is unprecedented in the NFL. No quarterback should never do that. And your quarterback threw for 409. It's Jimmy's and Joe's. You don't have the Jimmy's and Joe's. Panther fans, y'all get mad and say it's on the coach's thing. Now, the one thing I would say about y'all defense, the defense of the Panther is you play at MC South. Why run a 3-man front? Like you got all these deep. You got Derrick Brown playing nose tackle. He's not. He was getting tossed. He was getting thrown at the club.
I called it too.
It's enough of that Panther slander. Enough of that. Moving on. Kenny McClamrock, sound off. We ain't having Sharif. We ain't having that. We ain't having no more of that. No more. And you're welcome. You're welcome. Here we go.
Now, some people know, Pep, that for the last couple of years, I was in charge of the #1 weight room in the state of North Carolina in high school sports. a weight room that put up incredible results, incredible, just amazing atmosphere. But now that I'm no longer coaching, I've been delegated back to the classroom where I'm teaching American history. So I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of history here. Here's a quick history lesson for you. May 10th, 1976, Concord, North Carolina. A man is put in prison for a brutal rape and burglary. Now, I won't go into all the details of the trial. We'll say that it was a little bit one-sided. He's a black man. Ronnie Long is his name. It was an all-white jury. 12 black men around his same age. He was 21 at the time, I believe, were candidates to be on this jury. They were all dismissed. Even the evidence surrounding was very, 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 very limited. A witness ID'd him in a courtroom. There was no physical evidence linking him to the crime. In fact, the only fingerprints, from my understanding, that were found at the crime were not his. No one knows who they are to this day. For 44 years, this man has sat in a federal prison for burglary and for rape that he did not commit. On August the 27th, aka my birthday, just a few weeks ago, Ronnie Long was freed after 44 years for a crime that he did not commit. The Cabarrus County DA's office, Roxanne Vanderkoven, dropped charges against him, and he was released. That makes sense. Justice, at least, can be done at this point. Here's the issue. Here's my sound off. So this man is released from prison after 44 years. Our governor, Roy Cooper, now we all know I'm not a fan of old Roy. I think he's a bad governor, and I hope he loses in November. That's a different story. He's done us wrong with football. He's done us wrong in lots of areas, but I'm not getting into that. But Mr. Cooper, in your 4 years as governor, the top executive of the state of North Carolina, you have yet to pardon a single person, including a man who was wrongfully imprisoned for 44 years. When Ronnie Long got out of jail, when the doors swung open on August the 27th, you should have been standing at the gate to meet this guy. You should have been standing with a pardon to forgive him of the crime that he did not commit, to relinquish anything on his record that is attached to this crime. And you should have been handing him a big fat check, one of those Who Wants to Be a Millionaire checks that said paid to the order of Ronnie Long, and then an incredibly large sum, not only to make up for the mistake that was made, not only to make up for the injustice that happened, but to make up for 44 years of lost wages. This dude was gotten out of jail, and since then, he's struggled to open up a bank account. He cannot find a job because when you Google his name, it says that he's a convicted rapist. He's on the sex registry. He can't get Medicare because of all these other struggles. You released a man and you released him into nothing. This dude has no money left in his bank account from 44 years ago. Any money he did have as a 21-year-old has way been spent and exhausted fighting for his freedom to prove that he was innocent of a crime that he did not commit. And here's where it gets even crazier. The state of North Carolina has a statute that says even when we, I'm trying to be PG here, even when we mess things up, even when we wrongfully commit a guy, even when they're thrown in jail for 44 years, the man's mom, from my understanding, passed away while he was in jail. Even when we screw it up, the most we can compensate a guy for lost wages is $750,000. I did the math. $750,000 divided by 44 years is $17,500 a year. I don't know what $17,500 a year looked like in 1976, but I know in 2015, 2017, 2019, $17,000 is what you make working at McDonald's flipping hamburgers if you work 40 hours a week. Mr. Cooper, it is time for you to do what's right. It is time for you to give justice to this man and his family where he had injustice committed against him 44 years ago. The incredible amounts of stories that his family has gone through, I can't even begin to imagine. And it's a crazy story, Pep. I'm telling this to my students just this week in class. And a girl raises her hand. She says, Mr. McClamrock, that's my uncle. I said, what? Your uncle? I turn on my Facebook feed, and there is a video of me in class just a few minutes earlier talking about Ronnie Long. There was a hashtag free Ronnie Long for a long time. There were websites that were made. There were crime podcasts that were done. He was picked up by the Innocence Project. But Mr. Governor, it is time for you to attempt to make up for over 4 decades of wrong. Pardon this man, pay this man, and that $750,000 is chump change. If you just average $35,000 over the length of 44 years, it's something like $1.3 million. And I don't think that $1.3 million will even begin to cover the pain, the harm, the damage that was done to this man, done to this man's family, done to his mom, done to his brothers and sisters. Mr. Governor, it's time for you to step up.
I'm going to yield my time to sound off because that deserved the time. So I'll sound off at the end of the show separately from that. That was well said. I can't follow that with anything else other than excellent job, Coach. Excellent job. That was awesome. That was awesome. I think we got a comment coming in on that too. There you go from Billings. Very nice. Thank you, Coach. Very nice. All right, so we're going to go to our next guest who's been patiently waiting in the background. Thank you for your patience, Coach, letting us get through that segment. He's in our assistant coach spotlight tonight. Is Coach Barry Lipscomb. He is with the Olympic Trojans, but he's been defensive coordinator at a couple different places. And we're going to bring him on the show tonight and talk to him for a few minutes and get his thoughts on a few good topics I think that need discussion. So let's bring him in.
Hey, Coach.
How we doing? Hey, how we doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good, man. I appreciate you coming on for a little bit with us tonight. I see you got the official Olympic jacket already. That's awesome.
Yes, representing.
Good deal, man. Good deal. So, so just talk to us a little bit about your background, where you've been, and what led you to joining the Trojans.
I just saw Coach McClamrock's little message on there saying it looks better than that Kelly Green I used to wear. So what brought me to Olympic? It's one of those things where you plan out what you think your life is going to look like and you make a plan for yourself. But God has a different plan for you. And he'll use different people to get you where he feels like where he feels like you're needed. And that's what happened to me. It happened during COVID. I ended up leaving Kannapolis and ended up reaching out to a couple of coaches I knew in CMS because that was my next stop. And then I happened to see Coach Thompson posted a job for DB coach. So I hit him up on emailed him actually and sent him my resume like I had done like several times to different people. But Coach Thompson gave me a call back and we sat down and we talked some football and hit it off. So that's how I ended up at Olympic.
Very good, man. That's awesome. It's always good to kind of network and get that kind of stuff done, man, and help each other out.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome, man. So there were some things you specifically wanted to talk about tonight, and here's the first one we want to discuss here. You wanted to talk about eligibility. Number one, getting kids eligible, in the classroom, and then keeping them eligible to be able to do some things, and get on the college level, and have success in the classroom. Of course, that comes first and foremost. So, what are some things you can, or I guess some tips you can give kids to, have that in classroom success?
Before we get started with that, let me give a shout out to Miss Cherie on her getting her master's degree. That is awesome. And Coach McClamrock, just so you know, you say you never you never went to any scrimmage games. I never sent a coach to watch your team scrimmage. Now I may have had a fan sitting up in the stands with a notepad, taking notes, and shoot me a text message to let me know which numbers I need to look out for. But I never sent another coach or anybody like that to watch your teams play while you were at Central Cabarrus. Now about the education thing, I am a big supporter of kids that want to get out of their current situations. Coming back to my hometown of Kannapolis, when I first got out of basic training and got married and everything, I wanted to get in the classroom and help kids get out of their current situations. I never had anybody that pushed me or gave me the knowledge of what to look for trying to go to college. I just felt like, being a really good football player, that was going to take care of itself. And the way it works now, that's not it. So one of the standards that I have since I've been coaching is if you're not making good grades, you're not getting on the field for me defensively. So I hold my kids, if you're failing a class during the week, you couldn't play. And I would tell your parents, straight out, your son isn't playing this week defensively because he doesn't have the grades. He's failing so-and-so's class. Once he gets those grades up, I'm more than happy to get him back on the field. Moving around as much as I have, being at Central Cabarrus for some time, being at South Rowan as a DC, going to Concord, and then going back to Kannapolis, and now coming to CMS, I plan to still hold that same standard. I felt like, being a teacher, I wasn't able to touch enough of the athletes. I wasn't able to touch enough of the students. So I wanted to become a school counselor, and that's what I'm doing now. So I have access to everybody's grades. Some of the kids will tell you, the biggest thing is getting that phone call or just seeing me show up at your door to talk to your teacher and saying, hey, I need so-and-so to step out in the hallway. And it didn't matter if you were a football player, basketball player, if you ran track, you played volleyball, softball. Coach Lipscomb was always looking at your grades. One of the things that I've liked about CMS is that they have a required GPA, and that's a 2.0. It used to be back in the day, whenever all of us were younger, that's all you needed to get into college. Now you need a 2.3 to play D1, and you need a 2.2 to play Division II football. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to sit down with parents that have that dream for their kids to play college football, to play a college sport, and follow that student. I'll sit down with a parent that moves in to whatever school I'm at, and we'll have a conversation. The other counselors knew, hey, this person is an athlete. Let's send them in there to Coach Lip. And we'd sit down and I'd tell them, right off, this is where your son or daughter is GPA-wise. What do you want to do? Do you want to go to college to play that same sport? And if you do, then I will track your student. I will track your child and let you know, hey, these are the classes they are taking. This is what their grades are. This is what they need to retake. So those are some of the things that I like to push. I enjoyed being on coaching staffs where coaches legitimately cared about their kids, not just in season, out of season too, because you'll get to a lot of programs or a lot of schools, and that coach only cares about that kid while they're in season. And a lot of those kids' grades drop off out of season. Having the opportunity to work in student services, I've been given the ability to follow that kid throughout that year and work with them to ensure that their grades are on par. I think that was a lot, wasn't it?
No, man, that was excellent. That was excellent. I wish I could put all of it in our, social media breakdown, but they only give me 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So I'm gonna try to take the best of that and stick it out there. But
the most important thing, though, Coach, thing is, as a head coach or an assistant coach, whatever your role is in your school, is making sure that you have somebody in student services on your side. somebody that's going to match your kids up with the right teachers, that's going to take care of your kids. And I'm not talking about giving your kids grades. I'm talking about holding your kids accountable. A lot of times teachers will be like, well, so-and-so is not going to do their work, but I'll put them in Coach McClamrock's class, and Coach McClamrock is going to make sure that they get their work done, and he's going to hold them accountable. So that's,
Right. Well said. Well said, man. So you want also to talk about the NCAA recruiting process, how it works. There's a lot of misinformation, and there's a lot of kids just don't know how recruiting works. And I know that's something you wanted to touch on. So what are some things you wanted to discuss with the recruiting process with the NCAA?
Well, the biggest thing is knowing what type of recruit that you are, being honest with yourself, and having a coach around you that's going to be honest with you and let you know, like, hey, you may not be that D1 linebacker, you may not be that D1 cornerback, but you can play somewhere. There are a lot of colleges out there that have different programs, whether it's Division I, Division II, or Division III. You're playing football, you're playing basketball. I won't say be happy with that, but be grateful that you're able to continue using that talent that God gave you. Looking at the standards, knowing where you are, sit down with somebody that you trust, get a worksheet out and work to where you can see your NCAA GPA, because there are two different GPAs. There's one if you're a regular student, and that's the one that includes the weight training that you're taking, that you're making A's in. And then there's that NCAA GPA that just has your core classes, and that's what the recruiters are looking at. They're looking at your core grades, your core GPA, and your test scores. And for those guys that are coming out now, the biggest thing is, a lot of you guys were given the choice of taking that PC-19, and that wasn't a good thing to do if that's what you did, especially if you're planning on playing football, because that PC-19 gives you the lowest grade possible. So whenever that's calculated in, it could bring down your GPA. So some of you athletes out there, some of your coaches need to look at your kids' transcript, and if they've got that PC-19 on there, have those kids retake the class and get a grade suppression and get an A or a B in that class, so that'll help their GPA come up.
Great tips, man. Great tips, man. I'm gonna definitely get that part out there, because I know a lot of people don't know that, especially kids, and parents. And we get a lot of parents that watch this show, so that's awesome stuff, man. Thank you for sharing that. We're gonna bring on Coach Kenny McClamrock, who's got a question for you, Coach.
What's up, Coach?
What's going on, Coach?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, a couple things about Coach Lips that some people may not know. But number one, Coach Lips has the largest biceps in all of coaches. Like, there are coaches who like to talk about having big biceps. And if I was him, I would never wear sleeves ever. Degrees outside, I'm still going sleeveless. Another fact about Coach Lips is, when I got my first head coaching job at East Rowan, he was actually the first person who I tried to get to come with me. I went to him. It was announced, like, Coach Lips, man, I need you to come with me to East Rowan. And here's why. Because what he's saying is true. I wanted Coach Lips to come because I wanted a person on my staff who I knew was going to care about the kids and treat the kids and respect the kids the way that they should be treated. He was loyal as a coach. He's loyal as a friend. He plays the game the right way. He has respect for the game, which is super, super important. In fact, I was just thinking about it. We beat the dog out of a team in the playoffs who had beaten us for a couple of years. In fact, Coach Bev was on the other sideline, and one of their coaches were running his mouth after the game, and Coach Lips comes into the field. I was just like, Coach, man, there's a dude out there looking for you. I said, who? And he tells me who it was. And I said, man, that clown, what does he want? And Coach Lips like, I think he wants to fight, but don't worry, I'm going to take care of it for you. He's like, Coach, I took care of it for you. We're good. And he had taken care of it. But the last thing, you briefly mentioned this, and I had to go put the boys down really quickly, so you may have touched on a little bit more. But a lot of people may not know that you're active duty reserves, man. You're in the Army.
I am actually retired.
You retired?
Yes, I retired this year. I retired in March after 22 years. 22 years and 2 deployments, man. I hung it up.
Well, Coach, that kind of steals my thunder a little bit, man. But tell me, for 22 years, you were coaching during that time. You were teaching during that time. What was it like balancing life as a coach, as a defensive coordinator, but also active duty and deployment? And a wife and kids, how in the world did you do that?
I tell you, it was great support from my family. Great support from the coaches that I've worked with over the years, especially when I was at South Orlando. I was a new DC and ended up getting deployed. And it's funny because like during the process of deploying, you end up going to a different state. And what happened was they had a game that Friday night and they called me at halftime. And we made adjustments over the phone at halftime. I can't recall who we were playing, but me and Coach Rollins were talking on the phone, and we made adjustments during that time. And it went out in the second half and put those things together. And that was one of the years actually that South Orlando ended up having a really good good year and beat Kannapolis. So that was like I was feeling good about that one
Always
when I was a part of that staff. Yeah. But no, having the support from my wife and my kids, because coaching takes a lot of time, and coaching and being in the military was like one of those things where, you know, when things happen, you got to go. I spent the last 6 years being an instructor at Fort Bragg, so I didn't miss too many. After football games on Friday nights, I'd leave the football game and I'd drive to Fayetteville just so I could be at Bragg on time. So
I was always hoping, and I've told you this, that you would get called out of town early when we played that week, so we'd have a little bit of an advantage over the team.
I love playing chess with you on Friday nights. Those were good times.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff right there, man. Ken, thanks for that awesome question, man. I would have had no idea on that. That's great. That's great insight. Great stuff. Coach, man, this is awesome. Those topics you talked about are great. And I look forward to getting to know you. You know, now you're down here at CMS and over at Olympic. There's some good guys over there. We had Coach Thompson on the show not too long ago. So you're going to a good place with good people, and I think that's going to be a home run. That's going to be a home run.
I'm excited to be with Coach Thompson and work with Coach Hart. Coach Hart has a lot of knowledge. His defense will surprise a lot of people because he doesn't do a lot of stuff, but what he does he's got it.
Yeah.
He made me question some of the things that I've been doing over the years.
Well, it's more than one ways to win.
That's right.
Hey, it's good stuff, man. All right, Coach, man. Thank you for coming on, and look forward to seeing you real soon over at Olympic. And when we get things started in the spring, look forward to seeing you in person, hopefully, and hopefully we can get past this COVID stuff and get back to a little bit more normalcy.
Well, Coach, you guys, again, thank you for having me on, and continue doing what you're doing. And I love the fact that you guys get an opportunity to speak about everything that's going on around us and being as open and honest as you guys are. I respect that, and I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate you saying those kind words. Thank you, man.
All right, y'all have a good evening.
All right, so that was Coach Barry Lipscomb joining us. He's now the new DB coach over at Olympic High School. It's going to be a great addition down there. We're going to jump to our next guest, who is approaching Barry Merritt territory in terms of waiting, but not as long as Coach Merritt has waited in the past. But we're going to go ahead and get him on right now. He is the offensive line coach over at Marvin Ridge High School down in Union County. He's been in CMS at several different places, done a great job, been an offensive coordinator, done a lot of different things. And tonight he's going to come on the Chalk Talk segment, and he's going to talk about the counter game. And I know Coach McClamrock was very excited to talk about that. It's one of his favorite plays he detailed not too long ago. But we're going to go ahead and bring him on right now. That's Coach Britt Leggett, offensive line coach at Marvin Ridge High School. And got to get his thing on the screen. There we go.
What's up, guys?
How are we doing tonight, Coach?
Good, man. Doing good.
Man. Awesome. Thank you for coming on tonight. I've seen your drills and your pictures with your offensive linemen. I'm excited to see this because I know you got some nasty counter stuff because I've seen it up close when you were at Olympic.
Yeah, man. I'm missing those guys. We had some kids that were big and fast, man. I miss those kids. Them some nasty kids too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they showed it last year, man. I left last year, but that was a really good group last year. That was the best group I've had since I've been in Charlotte.
Oh yeah. Really talented O-line up front.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and how you got to where you are now at Marvin Ridge.
Background, guys, you can tell by my voice I'm not from Charlotte, so I'll go ahead and say that now. I'm kind of in the southeastern part of North Carolina. I moved up here in 2010. I kind of knew Jason Fowler. He's from the same part of the area back home where I'm at. And they were opening up a new high school. He got the gig at Rocky River High School, opened that up. A little different. That was my second year of teaching too. My first year up here in CMS. So, going through that struggle in the beginning was, it was tough, man, going through that. But, building a program is something I'm going to tell people it's just different. And it's also satisfying, starting that program up from nothing and winning a conference championship in Southwestern 4A at the time. That was a brutal conference, man. That was a brutal conference. So just going from there and then, going into Olympic, left Rocky River after 7 years and went to Olympic. That place was I would tell you this, that place is really good. It's got a lot of different types of kids. It's got a great mix of kids there. I will tell you that. And I thought as a whole, we had to change some things there as far as the weight room and just some other things that when we got there. But, offensively there, man, the first year I got there, had a quarterback threw for like 2,200, 2,300 yards, had a running back run for 1,900. Had some good skill players there my first year there. My second year, we just were young, man, but we had a really good group up front. So that was exciting. And, I just wanted to be a little closer to home. And I decided, talk to Coach Carter and decided to move to Union County, do something a little different. I've been in CMS, for 10 years and just moved there. And it's been awesome, man. It's definitely different. You go from CMS to another county, you see some different things, which is a good thing. There's good and bad in every place. But, Marvin Ridge has been great to me, man. It's been a really good community feel. I think sometimes the CMS is hard for that because we pull so many kids from so many different areas. But it's been a really, really good feel at Marvin with a community feel because, I really haven't had that since I've been up here, unfortunately. And that's not all the high school's fault that we've been at. I mean, the first high school was at Rocky River. I mean, we pulled kids from a lot of places. I mean, even there's buses that would come in 45 minutes away. So it's just tough. But this is different, man. I'm liking it 7 miles down the road. I can't complain. I know my wife likes it better. My kids do. So, it's been awesome. But, that's really where I'm from. And, I went to play college ball at Coastal Carolina. Go Shants. We beat a Power 5 school on Saturday. So very happy about that. But played ball down there with David Bennett. I'm sure some people know about him. He was the head coach at Catawba for a long time. He took over the start program at Coastal, did some really big things. And, Coastal, we're trying to get there, man, trying to get there. And the power, on the Group 5 level, D1 level. So that's me, Coach. That's me. I'm just glad to be on the best show in Charlotte. This is awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna cut that up and put that out there. I know Kenny loves you here to say that. Well, we'll talk about that later on. All right, let's talk about some counter, Coach. What you got for us?
I'm gonna share this, man. I'm not gonna share like a PowerPoint style. I'm actually gonna share film. I know a lot of people, they like to see diagram stuff, but I'm gonna share the film. I think it'd just be better for everybody to see, and everybody likes to see film. So I'll go ahead and share that, guys.
Okay.
All right. Okay, if everybody can see that.
Hold on, I got you. There we go. All right.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So just starting off, this is just one thing we ran. We go wing trips to the field. We ran some QB counter, try to give it a different look back to the boundary. We had a big O line up front. I'm not gonna lie. We really keyed on that year in 2018 and running counter. That group was, we could pull both guards, both tackles were athletic enough to pull, and we had the quarterback Sean Bowles. I know, Pet Man knows real well, man. That year he was young, but we kept on getting better and better. He kept on getting better and better. He's an awesome kid too. Really great football player, and so he kept getting better, and we felt more comfortable with him throughout the year, and we started running him more. And he's a strong kid. He's a over 500 pound squatter when we left. So. But we ran quarterback counter back to the boundary. AK gave us a lot of cover one that night. I'll show you to you right here. Like right now, they had a shade backside to the boundary side, and we had our tackle. He was able to go to the mic now, which is awesome. Guard pulls, kicks out the inbound line scrimmage. We ran some. This is our H counter with a tight end. He pulls near foot, near shoulder, kicks him out. I just wish our receiver would have actually did his job because. If he does his job and blocks here, that would have been a lot better.
It's hard to get them pretty boys to block, man.
I'll tell you. Calling plays and doing that, you stressing that to the pretty boys is definitely, difficult. You gotta take pride in that. But we just run some QB counter there, man. That was something I felt like we did a pretty good job of that year with him because he was young that year, man. We try not to throw it as much that year with him. He does throw a pretty deep ball. He did throw a deep ball pretty good that year for just a sophomore. But next thing, man, we were Charlotte, playing Charlotte Catholic at Marvin Ridge. Wing trips to the field again. We're in pistol. Love the pistol. Love the downhill effect it does. We're gonna run, H counter back to the boundary. We do a good job. They don't get hand on our tackle. We're able to get to the mic now. Double team. We're able to get just a good enough double team. But the big key block in this when we ran counter was the kick out. We really logged this guy because the guy, they gap exchange here. So he logs him. And what they do a good job of, the H-back does, he kicks him out inside out. We teach near foot, near shoulder, kick him out. Now we're able to get to the next level. So that's just two different ways we ran it from wing trips back to the boundary side. We run QB counter and run back with our tailback in the pistol. Next one we had, guys, I'll be honest with you, I love this. This is the RPO we ran. We ran GT arrow. Okay, we were reading the end man. And I've got the arrows here, man, because in the spring I talked to some people about this, and I really liked it. I think it's easy for the quarterback. He could have thrown this arrow, to be honest with you, but he saw the mic too, and the mic went out. And what I like about this, it brings eye candy to that mic. So that mic right here, as you can tell, it gets him out of the box. And when we have a double team, we're running back counter. Honestly, that mic's out of the picture. He put himself out of the picture. So when I'm going through this, we run the arrow. The mic's out. He's got his eyes now on the H-back. He's out of the question. Now, our double team, we get hip to hip. We can really take him for a ride. Now, what I don't like here, we don't do the best job. The guard does a pretty good job of getting flat down the line, but what we don't do a very good job of at tackle of getting inside out, kicking inside out here, but we still make a good play. And I'm going to tell you why this is still a good play. Running back stayed, we taught staying down the hash. I'll tell you from the tight copy. We used to tell the running back and pistol, stay down the hash, stay down the middle, stay up the center's butt, because if you try to get your shoulders going B gap or C gap, we don't have a play. And he does a good job here of staying down, right down the plane, staying down the middle of the center. We got a big play. But I will tell you this, the arrow route, we threw some that year, and we had some big plays off of it. But I really like it. I think it causes some confusion for the defense, especially for the backers, because once they see him out, that gets their eyes on him and not on counter back the other way. And honestly, guys, I know they're running a cover 3 look here. So they're playing sky back here. They got the safety down. And, I tell people a lot of times, I'm not worried about that. If we run counter the right way and we do it like we're supposed to, it does not bother me. It really doesn't. Especially if we hit it like we're supposed to. So the next one we're going to show, guys, and this is another variation. So we ran arrow. This is the same RPO. But now this is in 2x2 in the wing set, but we motion to 3x1. So we motion here, We'll motion him. He snaps it right when he passes. Okay, he snaps it actually a little bit too late here, but he's still reading the end man on line of scrimmage right here. Well, what that motion does, watch this Mike Backer. Mike Backer, what? He takes shovel step towards there. He's out of play already. We get a great double team between our left guard and left tackle. I mean, we're hip to hip like you're supposed to be, hips and shoulders square, and we do a good job, guys, of kicking out. If our guy would have kicked him out inside out, I think we score. This is Cam right here, Cam Smith, the Conference Player of the Year this year.
Yep.
It's just a different variation we ran, which I think was awesome. I think motion in high school, I mean, I'm sure Coach will tell you, it's just the eye candy you can create on defenses are just awesome. But
so I know you, Coach, I know you said you hit that arrow a few times.
Yeah.
Did you get big plays off the arrow?
We did get some big plays off that because honestly, what would happen sometimes, a lot of people started keying the GT counter because we were so good at it. So that Mike would stay and he would scrape over the top when he saw that. Mm-hmm. He'd get his keys and he'd scrape back over. So a lot of times we get 3-on-2 out there and we were able to hit because the kid we had at H-back that year, he really could run. He had played receiver, but he weighed about 205, 210. And honestly, man, he could, he did some things that not normal tight ends in our area could do. He wasn't 6'4", 6'5", or 6'3", but he about 5'11", 6 feet, and he could really run. And we gave some people some threats out when we got it out to perimeter and some arrow. But in the beginning, we didn't have any. We really didn't throw it as much because everybody was, he was a threat because when if he caught the ball, he could run. So we didn't get it in the beginning, but then later on, we did have people start, keying our GT counter, so we would throw it back out there, have numbers.
Gotcha.
So that's just one way I'm just showing it from the tight copy. The Mike side picture, we do it well. That double team, you can't get a better double team there. Okay, here's, I already showed this one. I'll move on to another one. We're in 2x2 here. We had not showed this much that year. We ran a lot of GT QB counter out of wing trips back to the single receiver side. In this game, and we started later on that year, we started running some 2x2 with the H-back, and we started running back to the field some Q counter. And what we had was we started getting numbers back to the field because, we ran back to the boundary so well that year, and people started overloading. As you know, the numbers are to the boundary right now. So we went back to the field, and we were just running H counter here with our H-back and our guard. And I tell you what I see here and what, I'm trying to get our kids now. What's crazy is the guard did what we exactly told him to do. Stay flat down the line. If you got to touch the butt, stay into the line of scrimmage, kick out, inside out. If I'm pulling left, I kick out left. It's that easy. But this guy got upfield so much, we didn't have to worry about that. He almost had to redirect it to do this, but he was low to bring down the quarterback. You'll see this on film. Like he's a low to bring down. That was a physical bunch, man. This is they love running counter. That whole year, I mean, we'd be at practice. We trying to run power and trying to run some inside zone, outside zone. It's like, Coach, we need to run GT counter again. They loved it, man. They loved it.
That's what you want, man. That's what you
without
want,
a doubt.
especially from your offensive line. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were. That group was that was a nasty group, man. They bought into playing nasty. I thought, they really tried. They tried to go after people, which you want at O-line play. You want some nastiness, and that was something we harped on. But I would say this, man. Our double teams that year were, I know that Mallard Creek's had some good years. They've had some really good lines and stuff, but I thought double teams and getting hip to hip, we were really good that year. That we did a great job. This is probably one of my favorite formations, tight end wing, which wins away. I love it. I think it's an awesome formation. We ran motion here out with a slot. We brought him across. We faked and ran GT counter back the other way. I think, as you can tell, it can bring a lot of eye candy. But what we do a good job of, we see guys trying to actually the backers trigger it. They try to, come down. What a tackle does a good job. He sees it, blocks down. and we're able to score a touchdown here, which is good. I mean, we do a good job of kicking inside out this time. The running back he almost got a little too wide. You know, a lot of people ask me, why didn't you like gun as much as pistol? Well, I'll give you an example right here. You know, in gun, I think sometimes in gun, now I've had some running backs that are really good in gun. I'll be honest, they're good. But then I've had some running backs, you get in gun and their shoulders get turned. They don't get up, they don't get vertical, they don't get, you know, upfield, and you know, sometimes they'll get too wide, they'll get, you know, C-gap. I always thought pistol was something that kept shoulders square and got the running backs downhill. And that was a big reason why we were pistol. We really were. And I love pistol to this day. I think it's an awesome way to get downhill. I think it creates, you know, being physical, not only O-line, but also running backs. I don't think people stress that enough, but he does a good job. He waits it, cuts it up, plants that foot in the ground, gets upfield and scores. But that's probably one of my best I love that formation. You can do a lot of different things out of it. Great formation to have. Just a tight copy of us running it. But now I know this, like I love split back. I think if you got two RBs and especially quarterback can run, I think it's a deadly. I've seen a lot of coaches who's had them. You know, it's awesome. But here we are. We bounced.
Yeah, I ran this stuff too. Yeah.
We in this game we were up. He should have thrown the swing. He should have. We had the numbers, but we were up by so much here. We didn't want to throw it. But I mean, just he's, you know, when he bounces here, Cam does. I mean, you look right here. I mean, there's nothing but space. He gave the counter, which is, you know, fine too. But you know, I think this is very good with eye candy. You know, especially in backers. You know, when you get split back, a lot of times, you know, they're cross reading anyway. So I just think sometimes with backers, if they're not cross reading, they get confused, and you open up some big plays here. But we ran it back. GT counted back the other way. Didn't do a good job at tackle here, kicking inside out. He was actually too wide. He didn't cut up in the hole like he needed to. But still good play. Running back stays tight. He's able to get a good amount of yards there. But that was one thing when we stressed with our running backs. I don't know, like I see people run counter now, and I think sometimes, you know, running backs just don't get those shoulders downhill, and you're not able to hit it. You know, sometimes I think counter we get misled. It's always a B and C gap play, and sometimes it's really not. It can be an A gap play. And I think people get confused with that, especially if you do your job up front on your double teams.
Right.
But that's just another way we ran it. Here's another way we ran, just out 2x2. I won't show this one. It's just we ran it back to the field. It was a good play for us. Here's the one I do want to show. We ran some tight bunch that year, and we run buck sweep. Ooh. And at a tight bunch, what we did, we still pulled the guard and the H-back out of this. Actually, in this look, we got lucky. We probably should have just kept the front side to the tight bunch side. But we had run buck sweep this game so well, but we decided to go back the other way, try to get a different look. But I really like this. Guard kicks out, H-back wraps up. You know, if you know Cam does a good job. He almost if the receiver blocks like he's supposed to, Cam's out. I don't think he's going to catch him to safety here. Just another way we ran it. I think it's a different look. I think it's awesome look, especially if you run buck sweep so well or pin and pull. I think once you get the defense overloading to that side, you can run back the other way. But it was a good play for us, just out of a tight bunch set, especially if you like running tight bunch. Great formation to run it.
I like that, man. That's nice.
Yeah, that was one we really liked. We did a pretty good job of, but you know, we try to use as many variations that year because honestly, that year we just didn't have the receivers. We lost a bunch of receivers the year before in 2017 from that class, and we actually, you know, in 2018 we came in. We weren't overly talented at receiver that year, but we knew we were very good at running back and we were very good at O-line. And we stressed that year to run counter. Our kids wanted to run it; they wanted to get good at it, and we just wanted to run as many variations as we could that year. So we couldn't get people, getting tips on us on Hey, this formation, they're running this. Hey, this formation, they're doing this. So, it was good for us to try to give out different ways to run it. This is kind of like our RPO off of it. We ran a little slant off of this inside. He reads, the Mike comes a blitz, which is perfect. Throw it right off of it. Blitz, throw the RPO right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the tackle leaving here because that's not good. I don't want a free man off the line of scrimmage coming for our quarterback. Never want that. But he should have actually stayed on him and not, B gap hinged there. Here's something we did. We ran. We were in 2x2 here down the goal line, and Coach Carr does a good job of setting this up. We ran H counter back the other way, but the quarterback had free reign. He sees one-on-one out here in this RPO. He said, listen, we're gonna take the fade. If you see one-on-one, take it. So even though as an O-line coach, or sometimes you block it good up front, you're like, oh my gosh, we didn't hand the ball off, but then you look out there and you're like, okay, I get it. Quarterback rules, hey, one-on-one, throw the fade. It was 4 touchdowns. So I don't get upset about those type of things, even though we actually did block it well. We did block that well. So sometimes as an O-line coach, you get a little frustrated. This time we run it. We're just in. I call it just tight end to our right, twins away. We run GT counter back the other way now. You're gonna watch the tie cop and you're like, Coach, he did not give that ball. No, he did not. If you see this out here, this is a give me. This is a give me right here. He's playing 6 yards off, 5 to 6 yards off. Throw the hitch. There's nobody in the alley here. Throw it. That's a gift. So he throws it. He sees it. Take the yards. Got 7 yards on the play. So sometimes when you run these RPOs off of stuff, you're like, man, if he hands that ball off, we might have got even bigger yardage. Yeah, but when you look at the quarterback rules, you're like, I see what he saw, and I know what. Yeah, I know. So sometimes you get like, man, yeah. The one time you don't hand it off is the one time it could have been a real big play. That's the only thing sometimes by RPO, but you gotta live with RPOs like that. That's the name of the game with RPOs. Same thing. We run the fade again. They kept on getting one-on-one. Quarterback throws it great. Throws to the back shoulder. Awesome job. This is split back again. We run out of it. Cam, he does a good job here pressing it. He gets his shoulder square. He does a good job of staying A-gap. Press it. He's gone. And like I said, I think with this play, and I know you got to teach O-line like, staying tight, kicking out, teaching near foot, near shoulder, all that. But I also think it's just important teaching running backs. You don't want to make them robotic. I'm not saying that. You want a running back to be a running back. But you also got to be able to teach them landmarks and keys on when you run this play that I think is pivotal on running it. So just something that I think, when you're going to run counter, I think is big. But just another way we ran it out of split back. This is not counter, but I really like this. We had run so much H counter with the wing here. So this game, we were like, since we run it so much, let's run a shovel off of it. Let's make it look like it's not actually counter. This is power read shovel. We run a power read shovel play right here. So what we do, we still pull the guard. He's not pulling for the end man. We read the end man on line of scrimmage here, and we throw the shovel. That was something different. It's not counter, but it was a different look. It gave defenses like, okay, it's still the same type of action. We had run some QB counter back the other way, and people thought that. So we read the E-man. He came straight upfield. We pitched the shovel now. And that kid could run. So we try to do some different things with him.
Nice.
Yeah. This is just out of trips. I'm sure Coach Clamrod, he runs this, but he should have ran a bubble out of trips here. When I had Tyshawn Carter at Rocky River, we would run a lot of open set trips with him because he's so athletic. We read the end man on line of scrimmage, run the bubble here, and then he would read the hole defender. Just giving the ball here, just run a GT back away from the trip side. It's a good play. Wow. I wanted to show one more out of this that we ran. We did a motion I like out of it. Sorry, Coach. I don't know. Let me go back. I'm just going to show that one real quick, and then I'll be done, Coach. I just want to show it I know I'm pretty sure it's on here, but if I can get to it. No, not this one. Must not have it on.
What kind of drill do you teach the O-line on the kick out, and then on the I guess more the lead pull?
Coach, really honestly, what we started doing now at Marvin, what I started trying to do with the tackles, I'm actually skip pulling to try to keep their shoulders more square. I think that was one time we tried to do more open pulls with the tackles. I like to open pull with the guards, like to kick out with the guards because I wanted that to be a nasty play. We try to work into the line of scrimmage. I think a lot of times in high school, a lot of people run power. With power, you got to get some depth. With GT counter, you don't want depth. You want to get we tell people, our kids all the time, hey, when you're down the line of scrimmage, working down the line of scrimmage, hey, rub your hand up against the O-line. That's how tight I want you. And that's sometimes, I think in high school, kids don't realize how tight that play at guard you got to be to work down the line of scrimmage. At tackle, we really want to try to do more skip pull. I thought at Olympics when we opened, we just didn't do a good job of staying square, and we didn't pull up in the hole as much. This year when we were at Olympic, I felt like we were able to skip pull and we were able to see it better, and then we were able to actually keep our shoulders and hips square.
Hey, good deal, man.
But I can't find the one I had, Coach. I had one I was going to show where we motioned we motioned the H back to the field. And then we ran back H counter back the other way, but I don't have that one on here. I thought I did, but that's okay. But that's just some different variations, Pet man. I thought, like I said, I thought we had some success. Well, it also helps when you got running backs and no line like that. It does help. Helps to have those kids.
Absolutely, man. That was awesome. That was an awesome video, awesome clips, and you're right. That group was a really strong group up front, man, and that's a nasty play when you got some guys like that.
Without a doubt.
Awesome. Well, Coach, man, I appreciate you coming on tonight, man, and sharing all that. And I know we got double-digit numbers still, so I know some coaches are taking notes.
Nice.
You might see some GT counter around the metro area here in the spring.
What's up, baby? Hey, Pep. Don't let Leggett discredit himself because he got one of the most prominent coaches, and he already know who I'm finna say. And this dude is the hardest person to please in America, and he probably not even watching right now. But Coach Johnson told me that Leggett was the man, and Leggett was one of the primary reasons why I went so hard to get Coach Jeremy Johnson at Providence. He called me and Leggett talked for about 2 days. He said, man, you got to get him over there. I said, do you trust? He said, I have become a head coach. I'm bringing Jay Johnson with me, dog. And, man, that dude is an O-line. He one of my favorite O-line guys, man. Him and Johnson, man, they'll sit there. They'll make a DB coach think he could coach their O-line. I don't learn so much from them guys, boy. I love Leggett. Leggett my guy.
Yeah, Bills, man. Hey, how's Dub C treating you, man?
Baby. I'm glad to be home, baby. I'm just trying to not get in no trouble.
I'm glad you're over there, man. That's good. That's good for the kids, man.
Thank you.
Coach, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all having me, man. That was awesome. Hey, best show in Charlotte, guys. Best show in Charlotte. I try to watch every time I can.
Thank you, man. That's number 2 tonight. So we're gonna clip this show up. We're gonna put them all together. It's gonna be a long clip. I don't think they got as many clips over there. But anyway, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, y'all take care, guys.
Thanks, Coach. All right, thanks.
Yeah, man.
All right, so that was Coach Leggett from Marvin Ridge. We've had a few people have some things to do. Let's see, we got a comment. Justin Jones, no one can bend your ear like Leggett. No, that was good stuff, man. That was great stuff, man. That was really, really good. Juice Man. Let's see. We'll see if you want to make your picks, Juice. All right, so Juice Man's gonna make his picks because he went on earlier. So let's bring him on. Let him make his picks here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me go ahead and make my picks. I like how you got that on there. Football team. Man, I'm going with the Cardinals, man. I like Kyler Murray. I think he's making great steps forward, man. Obviously with having those targets out there, having those weapons out there, I think they're gonna be able to make some good strides this week. So I got them winning. I got them probably about 28-14. I think they'll pull away against for Washington. Vikings and Colts, man. I think it's gonna be a barn burner. Phillip Rivers looked pretty good this past weekend. Obviously, they didn't get. I don't think they got the W, but he looked good. He looked good. So, but I don't have them winning. I think the Vikings, Dalvin Cook, man, just got that bag. He just got that bag. So I think Dalvin Cook and them get into the winners column this week. I know they took the loss this past weekend against the Packers, but they get into the winners column this weekend, beating the Colts. I say maybe a barn burn. I'll probably go, 28-35, man. It's gonna be bombs over Baghdad. Bengals and Browns, man. It's gonna be an interesting one, man. I think that's the Thursday night game. The Bengals and the Browns. What I will say, man, is I'm interested in seeing the quarterback versus quarterback battle. I want to see Joe Burrow, be nasty, JB. You know what I mean? I want to see what he's going to do. I want to see if Baker can take that next step forward. I think last year obviously was a step back, but he's got all the weapons in the world around him. This past weekend they took an L, but, that was a combination of a lot of different reasons why they took that L. So, honestly, man, I'm going to give the rookie, man. I'm going to give a young bull a W this week, man. It's Thursday, man. I'm going to give him a W tomorrow, man. I think it's going to be a kind of a low-scoring game. Both of them won't probably get rolling until about the second half. So I'll go probably 21-18, 21-18, a field goals difference in that game, man. So I got Cardinals, Vikings, and a barn burner, and I got the Bengals winning. I want to see if that rookie going to get him a W tomorrow. And that's it, man. And Cam Newton, boy. Well, don't you never try to snatch my chain, boy. Don't you never try to snatch my chain. But that boy Cam wasn't playing. He wasn't playing with Christian Wilkes.
No, he wasn't. But I'm disappointed, man. I thought you were gonna do your little
Ain't no country thing,
man. That's what we were all waiting for.
The Cowboys in the lineup, and I got something special. I got something real special. I just picked it up. I got something real special. Next time you put them Cowboys,
if I would have known that.
Yeah, anytime you put the Cowboys in the lineup, I got something real special. I just picked it up too.
The good news is we know for a fact now that the coach Juice Man is moving down to second place. The Bengals, come on, dog.
Yeah, man, I'm not going with them Browns, man. Hey, you know what? Matt McLaren Rock, bro? I probably would have felt a little more comfortable with going with the Browns if their offensive line didn't play so terrible on Sunday. I mean, their offensive line was garbage, man. So, and I know the Bengals got them young ends, man. They got some pressure coming off that edge.
I get it. There was throw up coming in my mouth whenever I said the Browns were going to win that game. Like, I get it.
Yeah, man. It don't feel right. That's why, a 21-18, like a low scoring game. Ain't neither one of them going to really have a great game, But the Browns, man, that offensive line is abysmal, man. Oh, good gracious. Got all them targets around the field, man. That offensive line so bad, man. I enjoy – I'm a ditto on what Brandon said earlier too, man. I enjoyed myself this weekend, man. Sitting down watching football, man. I know I was kind of rough on the college football. I'm glad to see the Big Ten, going to jump back into the pod, man. Before I wasn't. Obviously, y'all know I was totally against it. But now, after having the chance to see the college football we had on Saturday, NFL on Sunday, you know what I mean? I don't want to do nothing on Friday night still right now. I'm good. But Saturday, Sunday, Monday, man, I loved it, man. I enjoyed it, man. Sit back and, chill with the family, put a couple.
Watch the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
Watch the Sun Belt strap, put that belt on everybody.
Sun Belt put the straps on a little bit of everybody, didn't it? You know what I'm saying? What's going on with McClamor? What's up with your boy out in Kansas, man? What's going on with him, man?
Love McClamor. He said, don't put that evil on him.
What's the old thing? The float the weed or something like that. His hashtag. Boy, them shots. Holy cow! Who knew that was a mad rooster until that game? Boy, they were mad.
Golly.
And then the kid, the quarterback. I didn't realize this. He's a Union County kid.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they thought he couldn't throw the ball because that he was in that triple option. So
ball.
He can throw.
But I'm telling you, they coming down to this 704-828-98.
Them dirty, trash-a-latching state and that crap win they were able to pull out, man. Just wait, Coach Hilly. Something special's going on Highway 49.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, I ain't trying to be negative because I like Coach Hilly. He ain't gonna win nothing this week. Club Lick gonna be shut down this week.
Nah, Reynolds is hurt. I don't think he's playing.
A lot of people don't realize that Charlotte's best defensive player, returning all conference dude, their defensive end went out the second series.
Yeah,
and then my guy Juice, Derek Boykins, was ruled ineligible because of transfer rules a week and a half before.
Oh man,
weeks ago he was running first team.
Hey, let me tell you something. They could have had that defense in all conference play this week. It would have meant nothing. Old Matt Brown don't come up in there. And he don't put them Brown boys out there.
It's Chris Ritter. 2 words. I think I'm going to be hurt this week. I ain't playing. When North back, we called it the Independence flu. I got the Independence flu, baby.
2 words. Hey, I only got 2 words in that Carolina UNC Charlotte game. Sam Howell.
Charlotte.
Charlotte, my fault. Sam Howell. Charlotteans, Charlotte or whatever.
Nah.
I got Carolina.
Hey, I tell you what, them DBs better put their track spikes on because they'll be in track meet all night.
But I agree with you though, man. Healy got something special going on over there on Highway.
Yeah, well that App State loss, man, it was just
I hurt, man.
It is what it is, but
But he
if what I said earlier, you really don't want to say more victories only for minor league coaches, but he lived rent free in their head. He's living rent free in their head because every time you gotta do all that after you beat a school like UNC Charlotte and you just big bad App State, that's saying a lot. I was like, wow, like Coastal Carolina when they get to Kansas. And I go to Coastal Carolina, I be a Power 5 like that. Oh, I'm showing out too, but at the same time, Kansas, terrible. But that's just,
but Coastal treated it like it was another Saturday. You seen?
But they had to make a statement. They had to make a statement though. They smacked them in the mouth. It reminded me of that Georgia Tech Florida State game. It was just, my.
Florida State still plays football?
Man,
my bad.
I already relinquished my Florida State fan. They're not gonna let me live it down at all.
Did you see Georgia Tech punter? Did you see that punter? Oh Jesus! I was out there laughing.
That was the big dude. Because I refused to watch Florida State just out of principle. But I flipped the channel just to see what the score was, and I see him catching a field goal or PAT, whatever it was, and I was like, "Good, they got the nose guard."
Hey, Ken, he came out there smoking a Black and Mild kick a punt one time.
All American though, man.
We're gonna continue this conversation off camera.
Yeah, Black and Mild came out there.
Let me end the show. All right. On behalf of everybody, this is Pet Man signing off for Football Focus Weekly. See you next week.